Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. I hope y'all are just having a fantabulous 4th of July weekend. Here in the States, that means lots of booms and bangs and lots of money spent on legal explosives, I guess you could say. Yeah. 4th of July holiday is actually pretty awesome. It's really, we celebrate our independence here. And, but I think a lot of people don't remember why we celebrate the 4th of July. It's not just families and reasons to get out on the lake and drink beer or whatever it is that people like to do on the 4th. Independence, liberty. What's that really mean? Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. First off, we're being broadcast live tonight, of course, on Truth Frequency Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live, and also on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Hope you're all having a fantabulous day that ends in Y. And no matter how you are listening, make sure you stop in and say hi in one of the chat rooms, or send me the email at wildepaisley@gmail.com. That's WILDEPAISLEY @gmail.com. Or you can always give me a call at 213-233-3998. Or if you're across the pond in the UK, it is 44-203-393-2871. If you want to just support the show because you're awesome that way, you can do so by doing the cash tag, and that's $TheSpacesBetween. With no spaces. Yes. You can also check out the website. That's www.paisleywild.com, where you can get the book, The Wild Pagan, A to Z. And if you want it autographed, that's probably the best place to get it. If you do not really care about the signature, which some people don't, especially if it's for kiddos, which I understand, Amazon has it too. So, yeah, it's there too. You can also get it in, you can read it on your phone. Sorry, brain cramp as I look at my phone. Kindle. That's it. Kindle. Sorry. Let's see what else. As long as you're checking out websites in between the booms and the blasts this weekend, you can go to iLife.com. iLife is the official sponsor for Truth Frequency Radio. iLife combines the best non-psychoactive parts of the ayahuasca plant with the high-quality CBD. Blend it all together to cure what ails you, support your system, because we need it. So yeah, 4th of July. So ironically, there's a lot of history about the 4th of July. It's not very witchy, but it kind of is, I suppose. Just little random factoids here. Wow. Did you know that this weekend, on average, Americans eat about 150 million with an M, hot dogs? That's crazy. And maybe 1% of those folks actually know what's in a hot dog. So, July 4th, Independence Day here in the U.S., people signed the Declaration of Independence. That's when the Second Continental Congress unanimously adopted the Declaration of Independence, signaling the official separation of the 13 original colonies from Great Britain. And, the Revolutionary War began, basically. But technically, only 2 men actually signed the Declaration on July 4th, 1976. Interesting, huh? Excuse me. Been drinking the coffee too fast. It's a coffee shake. Because, yeah, you need the coffee sometimes. So everybody assumes, though, that we declared it, our independence from Britain on July 4th, but the vote actually took place on July 2nd. But because news did not spread as fast as it does today, It's celebrated on July 4th. In 1958, our history teacher assigned a class assignment to redesign the national flag as both Alaska and Hawaii neared statehood. And Robert G. Heft, who was 16 at the time, designed the new flag using the old 48-star flag and $2.87 worth of blue cloth and white iron-on material. His design earned him a B-. And he challenged his grade by sending his flag design to the D.C. To be considered by President Dwight D. Eisenhower. And he was one of thousands to submit a design, but the only person who actually stitched together a flag and sent it to D.C. And since his flag was selected, his grade was switched to an A. And in 1960, our current flag became official. Crazy, huh? Sometimes you do the work and it pays off. So the two people who actually signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th were Charles Thompson and John Hancock. So when people say, hey, put your John Hancock on some piece of paper of some sort, it's because, well, you're putting your signature on it. And yes, there is something written on the back of the Declaration of Independence. It just says Original Declaration of Independence dated 4th July 1776. It's not an invisible map. Thank you, Nicolas Cage. Let's see. There is a signed letter recanted, or one signed later. Hold on. Sometimes you read the things and the words just don't make sense. So, Richard Stockton, who is a lawyer from New Jersey, became the only signer of the Declaration of Independence to recant his support of the Revolution after being captured by the British in November of 76 and thrown in jail. After years of abusive treatment and his recanting of loyalties, Stockton was released to find all of his property destroyed or stolen by the British. And his library, which at the time was one of the finest in the colonies, was burned. It never fails when people don't like what your ideals are. They just like to destroy things. I don't know why. It's frustrating because you lose so much. So much information gets lost that way. And yeah, it's just frustrating because there's why destroy the information? Seriously. Let's see. Yes, John Hancock had beautiful penmanship. Let's see. So, according to the Pyrotechnics Association, Americans generally spend more than $1 billion with a B, $1 billion on fireworks every year. Every year. And only 10% of those fireworks are actually set off professionally. The rest of it is people having redneck moments, which is why there's approximately 12,900 firework-related emergency room visits around the country this weekend. And according to Fortune magazine, about 70% of those accidents were experienced by men. Oh, yeah. So, let's see. People who wear... So, okay, U.S., here we... it seems like we like to show our patriotism by wearing flags on our clothing. And I know a lot of other nations around the world are like, why do you do this thing, you weird people, you? I'm not being sexist. Don's just gonna go find some dinner, I think. Anyways, so if you have a U.S. flag-themed t-shirt, beach towel, shorts, headband, or any other item that is representative of the U.S. flag, technically, you are in violation of the U.S. Flag Code. And the U.S. Flag Code states that if you're in violation, if you sell or display any article of merchandise upon which shall have been printed, painted, attached, or otherwise placed a representation of the flag, in order to advertise, call attention to, decorate, mark, or distinguish the article or substance to which it's placed. So, the flag code isn't actually enforced anymore, so, you don't have to worry about the flag police, but yeah, it is interesting. Let's see. The July 4th wasn't declared an official federal holiday until 1870. Almost 100 years after, the Declaration was signed. So, yeah. Interesting information. There's more stuff in here, but I'll put it in the show notes if you want to read the rest of it. It's just, random factoids. Yeah. Mostly, if you are celebrating the 4th of July with fireworks, be safe. Practice safe exploding, because, you should. Lucky says, so the NFL having the flag on their helmets and police and military with the flag on the uniforms is all in violation of the law. Technically, yes. Technically. But seeing as how the U.S. government is doing it for the military, local law enforcement for the police, and NFL spends billions or generates billions. How does that work? They participate in billions of dollars every year? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, craziness. So tonight, by the way, is dream interpretation. So if you have a dream you would like to talk about, drop me a line, either in the chat rooms or send me an email at wildepaisley@gmail.com, or give a call. In the meantime, I've just got some random stuff that I'll be talking about, so yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes. The black flies, by the way, are really horrible this year. I don't like it. Nope. So, speaking of dreams, dream journaling is something we should all be doing. I do some, not as much as I should, partly because my memory isn't what it should be either. So I do the best I can. But what is a dream journal? And I've talked about them often, but basically it's a record of experiences you dream about in your sleep. You can start by simply writing down what you remember from your dreams. And as you go along, you can start to analyze what your dreams might mean, especially if the same kind of dreams over and over and over again. So dream journal is a type of reflective diary where you can reminisce on important or unusual things that happen to you and then meditate on what they might mean. So today, I was talking to someone in social media world, and she often has dreams that are somewhat of a premonition type of dream. She wasn't really sure how to check which ones were real and which ones weren't, and how she felt like she had lost touch with her gift a bit, and I understand that. And the best way to do it, and I suggested this, was to start a dream journal so that she could write down the details of the different dreams, and then if she had one that felt like it was more of a premonition type, or if she had a premonition later, it's like, oh, hey, I dreamed that. Go back and review the different dreams that she had written down, see if one matched. So it's a way to check, is that a true premonition type dream, or is it just a dream? I have my singing bowls out. I sent a picture to Lucky earlier. I just needed a bowl tonight. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if you count my coffee cup as a bowl. Because yes, I needed the coffee. So, why do we dream journal? Well, it helps you to remember your dreams, really basically. But it can also help improve your memory, which I've noticed that as I've aged, my memory is just not as good as it used to be, which is vexing. And so yeah, I like to write things down. I often have a notebook around somewhere. I have 2 just within easy reach, possibly 3, and then my phone, which I record things on all the time. But and if you have a hard time remembering your dreams, when you first wake up in the morning, that's when you put them down. Not like, oh, okay, I woke up, I had this crazy dream, I'll write it down while I'm having coffee. Well, in the course of getting up and having coffee, often you forget parts. So write it down as soon as possible. So Wanda in the chat says, I have dreams for 3 days about some people and their places before they pass on. Do others have this, or is it just me? Actually, no, Wanda. I know someone personally who has similar dreams. Not necessarily for 3 days, but she will have a dream about someone, and often that someone will pass on as a result of something that's in the dream. And then when she wakes up, she finds out, often within like 12 to 24 hours, that that person has passed on, absolutely according to whatever she saw in her dream. It's been as long as a week, I think, but generally it's pretty immediate. She feels like she's just an angel of death as a result. She's not. It's just a thing that happens. So she has these dreams, and they're a little disturbing sometimes because it's like, OMG, I just had this really crazy dream about someone that I don't know and they're going to die. Now what? Well, having a theme about something or somebody who's dying is not abnormal. Sometimes it's more symbolic of, if in death in general, because a death of someone means it's the end of something means it's coming to an end. It's an end of a time, end of an era, end of a chapter in your life, that kind of thing. However, if it's specific, well, it's just part of the grieving process. And maybe it's to help you to be more aware of the people who are grieving. I'm not sure. But no, you're not the only one, my dear. Speaking of grief, I saw an interesting article about someone, and it was written in third person, so I'm not sure how much truth there is to this, but it's just something I've seen before personally, so it's not the first time it's come across. But basically, the individual, the main character in question, is Christian, and her mother passed on. And because her mother was devout and pious, she felt that her mother was going to heaven. And she was told that since her mother's going to heaven, there's no need for her to grieve, which absolutely puts a halt to the grieving process, or tries to put a halt to the grieving process. But it binds it up. It makes a conflict that's really unnecessary. Because when you grieve for something, it means you miss the person or the thing, whatever. You can grieve the loss of a job, or the loss of a friend, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a pet. That grief is real. It doesn't matter if the loved one is just, gone on an extended vacation, or has been deployed overseas or something. You're not going to see him for a while, or the loved one dies. Same with a friend. Maybe you're grieving the loss of the friend because the friendship came to an end. You can grieve the loss of that friendship, and that's really, really normal. So don't let anybody tell you that you shouldn't grieve the loss of someone because they're going to heaven or whatever afterlife that they feel is appropriate, they think is going to happen. Because you're grieving that loss, and that's normal. Elaine says, I have deja vu dreams. I don't remember the dream until it happens in real time. Sometimes it's months later, and it's different than actual deja vu. Now, I have these, and they're a little bit bizarre, because they'll be very, very clear and real and bold when I'm having the dream, but often when I wake up, they're gone, like that. I don't even have a chance to try to remember them. It's like I just got a download of information, if you will, and then lost the file. It's like, great, I have to go download it again. But mostly, yeah, it's frustrating. And then later I will have that situation happen, and I'll be like, OMG, I had a dream about this, and that's crazy. well, shoot, now what? Well, for me personally, I generally take it to mean that I'm on the right path. Sometimes I've noticed that it's a street sign saying, "Hey, you need to make a right turn instead of a left turn here." But generally speaking, I feel like I am on the right path, and that's why I'm having that dream, or why I'm having that sense of deja vu. It is a little weird, but it's not all bad. It's just weird. And if I feel like I've been maybe adrift a little bit, I really appreciate those deja vu moments because it means I'm not really adrift. I am in the right place at the right time doing the right thing to have that dream. So, and if you do call in and you have access to the chat room and I don't check right away and see that you're there, send me a message. I try. Sometimes I miss people, but no one's there yet. So yeah, give me a call. So yes, number one reason for keeping a dream journal is so you remember what your dreams are. And it does really, truly help you improve your memory because you're paying closer attention to the details, and it's causing the synapses in your brain to stay connected and let that energy come out. Lucky says that she learned that it was actually a warning. If there are things in the dream that are so outside of yourself, take it as a warning. Yes. So sometimes those things are outside. It's the ones that are like situational. Like I remember one. I was in a cubicle of some sort, working, and there are 3 or 4 people around me in various positions and genders, and we were all talking about work-related stuff. And then about 3-4 months later, I had the dream. It was very bizarre. I knew exactly what everybody was going to say in order, and I just kind of let it roll. And I felt like I was in the right place at the right time. It was because everything matched up exactly right. But it's when I have things that are outside of my normal, yeah, those are not so good. I can do it too.
I can do it twice.
I can do it 8. Don's playing with the UFO. So like he says, if you don't take it as a warning and you find real life is coming true, it proves that you didn't heed the warning that was sent to you. Well, there's probably some truth to that too. I don't, generally speaking, when I'm having those deja vu moments though, I'm sorry, my brain just shut down. I cannot visualize Lucky in a pink business suit ever. I'm on. Are you on?
I don't know. Am I on?
I don't know.
You're in control.
The board's on. So Don's here.
Hi.
I don't know.
Lucky in a pink business suit. That'd be like a nightmare.
Lucky really isn't a pink kind of person. Yeah, no, it's not working. I can see you in camo, but not even pink camo. I'm sorry, but no.
Pink digital.
Right? All right. So, number 2 on my list here is a dream diary. Can help you understand your emotions and thoughts, including how your dreams might affect them better. So, as a part of psychology, we should all know that dreams can affect how you feel and think. If you have a significant other and you ever had an argument with your significant other in your dream, do you wake up mad at them? I know people who have woken up.
Well, there's a difference between waking up mad and actually being mad at them.
We know people who have done both.
Yeah, but what's your point?
So, anyways, I'm going to stop right there because it's bottom of the hour already and we're about to go to break. Don made
Hi,
it.
Lucky.
Don's here just in time to go to break.
Sure.
And yeah, so we're talking about dreams and give a call, send a message, smoke signals if you have questions about your dreams, and we'll see what we can do, because sometimes that pink business suit is just a nightmare, not really a dream. Oh goodness. Be right back. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we're adventuring into the spaces between. Tonight we're talking about dreams and dream meanings and such. So if you've got a crazy dream you want to talk about, by all means, give me a call. That number is 213-233-3998. Or if you're in the UK, it is 44203-393-2871.
I have to admit
What's that?
that if I ever had a dream of me in a pink business suit, it would definitely be a nightmare.
Mm-hmm. I just
thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be scary. Dreaming in color is kind of a something else entirely. Because not everybody dreams in color.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, according to scientific studies by I don't know who, but if you dream in color, generally it simulates emotions. So most people do dream in color, but generally people don't remember the colors. It's more the activities or the being or the things that people are doing. That's more. People are more aware of that than color itself. So most people cannot recall dreams and they perceive them to be colorless. 25% of dreamers can actually recall the colors that are in their dream. And then colors and shapes in dreams come completely due to internal stimuli, which may be based upon the psychological associations the dreamer places on those objects and colors. So, for instance, if you dream of something pink, it's a combination of sensuality and moral purity in real life.
Pink business suit.
Yes. Interesting. And I think Lucky just had coffee come out her nose, judging by the number of ha-has. Yeah. So, okay, here is an excellent example. Just because the psychologists say that something... Huh?
Nothing.
Psychologists say something. It's like, oh, everybody dreams in pink. Not necessarily. And often the color pink represents something different to you than what the psychologists say. Lucky says, active duty Marine divorcee. No.
Yeah, no.
It could be. There's a morality there, I think. Yeah. Sensuality. Sure.
Yes, there's people who like people in uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Just not pink uniforms.
What are you hunting? Pink flamingos?
I don't know.
You stand there with one leg up. Nerd. Pretend you're an emu. Funny story. A friend of mine calls me up. She's like, hey, I need a ride. It's like, because her car's broken and she has a busted foot and she's got to have surgery again, and that's a whole different story. And she's like, hey, can you give me a ride to go pick up a chicken? And I'm thinking, okay. Is it a little chicken, big chicken? I don't know. She brings a dog kennel because why not? It's got solid sides so there's nothing comes out of the dog kennel. And then she's like, hey, can we put a little bit bigger kennel in the back of the car? I'm like, how big and what do you need? And she brings this kennel that could put in, like, a small horse would fit inside this kennel. I'm like, no, that one won't. No, that one won't fit. And so she puts that one back and brings a different one. And So that one goes in, and I'm like, so what's that for? Well, she goes, can do you mind if we go a little bit further beyond our initial stop and pick up something else? I'm like, what do you want to pick up? And she goes, well, I want to pick up an emu. I'm like, oh, how old's the emu? Because she's getting into this big crate. She goes, it's only 6 weeks. The 6-week-old emu is still about 2 feet tall.
Could have been taller than your average turkey.
Yeah, and honestly, they look like, raptors or some sort of feral dinosaur. And anyways, I go, well, how much did the emu cost? And she goes, a goat. I go, what do you mean a goat? She goes, he wants to trade a goat for an emu. I said, so you're putting a goat in my car?
Did she put a goat in the car?
Yes, there was a goat in the car.
Oh, God.
So we had the windows open, goat in the car. All the way to Spokane.
Spokane?
North Spokane. And so we stop and we pick up this frizzle chicken. So it looks like a
Afraid not.
Yeah, afraid not of a chicken, and it's got fluffy all over the place. And apparently chicken run is something that we've done occasionally. Wait, no, not occasionally. This is our second chicken run. And Dawn knows about both. And so yeah, chicken run. And so we get this little gray monstrosity that's fluffy, and in the back of the car it's going, ah, the goat. We get to Spokane, drop off the goat, and pick up an emu. And she's like, it's really too bad you didn't come with me to see the rest of them, because there's like 15 of them and they're really cute. You would have wanted to buy one. It's like, nope, I refuse the temptation. Hey, I got a slow clap. This is not... So when we did the first chicken run, she wanted me to look at the chicks. And I was like, nope, because if I look at the chicks, I'll want a chick, and I can't. I have no need to bring home another chicken. Although if I brought home a pair of emus, the response would be a little bizarre. It's like, how do they taste?
Oh, I know how they taste.
They taste actually pretty good. But, hi, Kai. So yeah, it was chicken run. We traded a goat for an emu. And she wants to know what to name the emu. I told her to name it Rocket or Gonzo. So, yes. Yes, goats and car rides are not necessarily the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But
Lucky's got a point. The eggs are huge.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably only need one every morning.
One?
2 or 3.
They're this big. They're huge. It's like, oh, what are you making? Egg drop soup. Well, how many eggs do you put in your egg drop soup? One.
That's the whole soup.
So, yeah. Oh, okay. Where are you guys going, Kai? Washington's kind of a big state. So, anyways, yeah. It was an adventure. So, yeah, and when...
Could you imagine breaking it?
You can get
the egg?
Hammer and chisel. Unscrew it, right? So, I'm not able to eat eggs from chickens. So, I wonder, does that mean I can eat emu eggs?
Probably not.
Because one emu egg would probably last me a month, a week, and scramble it. I don't know. That's a lot of egg. So yes. Well, she was a little scared, but once we got into Washington, where green things are legal, she calmed right down.
Who was scared?
The goat.
Oh.
The goat was scared until we got into Washington, and then she had a little bit of secondhand smoke and calmed right down. Out of the car. Lucky says drop the egg from the top of your bookshelf. Oh, okay. So, yes.
Oh, Port Angeles, yeah. She sees the Bigfoot Center of Washington from her area. That's cool.
Yeah, very cool. So, yeah, dreams. Totally off the rails there. But, yeah, adventures happen all the time. I did not dream I would ever put a goat in the back of my car and trade it for an emu.
Never dreamed.
Never dreamed. Nope.
The name of the show is.
Yeah, dream a little dream. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Puff, puff. Ah!
good, Leo.
Leo has good timing.
That was good. That's funny. Okay.
Anyways, so
Dreaming
dreams.
in color.
Dreaming in colors. Where did I do there? Yeah, I don't know that I agree with the whole pink meaning moral purity. That just is out there a little bit. So your dream diaries. You can control your dreams with lucid dreaming. So one of the most often mentioned benefits of keeping a dream journal is that you can help advance from merely experiencing your dreams.
Night, Kai.
Good night, Kai.
Night, Farm.
Good night, Farm. From experiencing your dreams to actually controlling them. This is known as lucid dreaming, a state in which you are not only consciously aware that you're dreaming, but can also consciously manipulate what is happening in the dream to some extent. Becoming a lucid dreamer can help you learn how to give bad dreams good endings. Hey, MCAT. Or even learn how to avoid having nightmares in the first place. So if you know someone who's dealing with a lot of night terrors or nightmares, teaching them how to do the lucid dreaming might help. Because once you have control of your dreams, then often, you can change the script, if you will. I was having just an odd dream the other day. I don't remember what it was, but it was odd. I was shopping for clothes or something, and I hate shopping for clothes. And I was enjoying it, and I was in the dream, and I was eating ice cream while shopping for clothes, and enjoying myself. And so the triggers in my brain are like, this is not real. You are dreaming. So of course I'm like, oh, I am dreaming because I hate shopping. Ice cream's good though. And I ended up, changing it a little bit. I just went somewhere else to enjoy my ice cream because, nope, I don't shop bad. So yeah, lucid dreaming can help control the end or the narrative of your dream. And sometimes you can forward... Lucky's funny. You can forward through your dream using lucid dreaming to see where the end is, especially if it's one you have often. So repetitive dreams will have, there's either a repetitive sequence or repetitive theme, either one. And if that sequence keeps happening over and over again and you keep waking up at a certain point, you can do the lucid dreaming to move your repetitive dream to the next phase or the next step to sorry, Don's shirt is the Rexorcist. R-E-X. Is it T-Rex or Rexorcist?
Yeah, no, it's just Rexorcist.
Or Rexorcist.
It's got a short arm. Little dude there.
Yeah. So, a dream diary can help you solve your problems creatively. So part of the reason why we have dreams is because, they're not generally constrained by reality. And you can use this to your advantage by dreaming about a subject or problem in an unusual way and then writing down the result in your dream diary. It might just inspire you to find a new method for creating something or solving a problem, one that you might not have normally thought of in the waking world. So many writers have used their dreams to inspire their stories, and even some mathematicians, including Albert Einstein, have relied on dreams to develop their formulas and theories in a way nobody thought they might or thought they could. So yeah, do you have a problem at work that you've been dealing with, or school, or in your family, or something like that? Just a dynamic you're not sure how to fix because it's overwhelming? Well, think about it as you're going to sleep at night, not focusing on it, and it's like, oh my gosh, the thing, not in a panicky way. Like, hey, I'm looking for a result or an answer or a way to fix my problem, and what should I do, brain? And when you go to sleep, you should dream about it, and then when you wake up, you'll be like, oh, that's what I need to do. And often the solution is one that you could have come up with logically, but it would have taken a leap of some sort, because there's a lot of illogic or non-logic in dreams. like flying elephants and floating cars, and we don't really have floating cars, but we have flying cars, but not floating cars in real life. So yeah, just Leo says, so are dreams real life and life is the dream? There is that thought. Maybe.
There was a show on Netflix, I think, called, it's Black Mirror, I think, and there was one episode. They're episodic, so each one is a different story, of this gal who was having bad dreams or something. She had this piece of tech that she'd put on her temple at night when she went to bed or whatnot, and she would dream that she was a blackmail detective in the other world, and it came to the point where she or he couldn't tell if they were dreaming or not, and I think it ended badly, I think. But anyhow, so interesting thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is interesting. What becomes real? Kind of like a Total Recall.
Yes.
Is another one of those. Does anybody not know Total Recall?
Well, probably not the original.
The book?
The book? Probably not.
Okay.
That would require reading.
There's a short book, but it's only like 150 pages. So basically, Total Recall, the premise is it's in the future. Main character is married, works, and wants to take a vacation, but vacations aren't always you go someplace. Sometimes you go to Recall, which is a brain modification place, and they implant a memory of the dream into your brain.
They implant the memory of the vacation.
Yeah, memory of the vacation, excuse me. And there's even, you can get extra pieces too, you know, like memorabilia, or like, hey, I bought this or bought that. Yeah, there's two of them. Anyways, the dream, or the main character chooses, oh, I want to be a spy on Mars, and supposedly gets the dream and wakes up, or the vacation wakes up and kind of goes ballistic, and they're like, oh no, he's having a brain scramble, whatever. And they're in trouble, and they're like, wait, no, this really happened. It wasn't a dream or a vacation or something that was implanted. So, you know, it's interesting how sci-fi has taken that whole premise of implanting something into your brain to give you a real experience.
Inception.
Yep, like Inception. You know, it's, you know, I wonder how close we are to that in reality. I mean, interesting way to, say, train military. Put them to sleep, training in pods.
Well, but you could also think of the Matrix movies too, in a very similar way.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you wonder if Mandela effect is a side effect of something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. You know, which came first, the, you know, trips into the Matrix or the Mandela effect?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the movie Inception is within activity within the brain, also within your dream.
Alteration of dreams, or implantation of ideas or thoughts that you normally wouldn't do, that you end up acting out or whatever. So subliminal messaging in a way. But
Yeah, Inception is one of those you probably want to watch 2 or 3 times to really, maybe even more, because you're going to see something new every time, which is, to me, means it's a really good movie. Let's see. So yeah, help you solve your dreams creatively. So how do you get started with a dream journal? Well, just start writing. It doesn't have to be fancy or anything like that. It could just be a notebook.
And raw is better anyhow.
What's
raw? Just writing it raw.
Yep, just write it raw. Sure, you can use your smartphone to type it out if that's all you have, or If writing is a little more difficult for you, using your audio app and speaking it, if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. But honestly, writing it down is best because it's that physical act of pen to paper. Just really brings the message out. And you want to keep that notebook close to your bed. So when you wake up, you can grab it first thing when you wake up and start writing out. And as time passes, and even as you start moving around after waking up, you start to lose the ability to remember what you're dreaming about. So you really do have to write it down just as soon as possible, because otherwise you forget. Kind of like one of those things. I will never forget this. It was such a fascinating thing. I will always, always remember it. And then the second you put your feet on the floor, it's like, gone. What was I thinking about? Yeah, gone. So, write it down. 2.
Life is a nightmare.
Not always. Depends on what state you live in. Include as much detail as you can when it comes to writing down your dreams. Now, not everything that you can remember happening in your dream, including where you are, or who you're with, or what time it is, maybe the sounds you can hear, the colors that you see, the objects that you encounter, or even how you feel emotionally, that kind of thing. You might not always remember all of it, and it's going to be hard at first when you're writing things down, but it will get easier with practice. And the more information you can recall from your dreams, the easier it is to interpret them. Because, like I mentioned at the very beginning, meaning for a psychologist doesn't necessarily mean it's the same as meaning for me. For instance, Mini-Me loves the color pink. I'm not really a pink person. I'll wear it occasionally, but she's more into pink, so pink is not exciting for me. She gets excited over pink. 2 different people, 2 different interpretations or emotional responses to the color pink. Both are legitimate. If you can, or if it's easier for you, draw your dream. So some people may find it hard or difficult to describe the dream by writing it out, but it's easier to express using pictures. So if it's easier for you to draw things out, draw it instead of writing words. And now if you can do both, drawing and writing, sometimes draw your dream and then put the captions in there as well, or the information about the picture to help you remember it. Now, I've tried this, and honestly, my brain doesn't maintain the dream long enough to sketch it out. It just doesn't. It's a different part of my brain kicks in to function, and the wheels just don't turn that way. So, Leo says, I'll put it in the safe spot and never remember that safe spot. As in the journal. I'll put the journal in a safe spot and never remember it. Yeah, same. The standing joke is, where'd you put it? I don't know. Super secret safe place. Super secret until somebody finds it, of course. But yeah, I don't know where it is. Excuse me. So the first step to actually interpreting your dreams for yourself, especially, is by, take your journal with you on your daily activities and write a short summary of what happened at each day. And then when you write down what your dream was about the next morning, you can look back at the previous day's events for clues as to why certain things may have shown up in your dream. Or you can also look at your dream to see how it might have influenced what you thought or felt for the rest of the day. Now, if you have a smartphone, it's easy to do because there's all sorts of apps you can use to have a diary on your phone for the events of the day. I have one that I log into pretty much every day because there's different things I have to track for my health.
Keep talking.
Okay. Don's pushing buttons. Hey, Wanda says, if you have to pee, you cannot write, only shuffle and run. Yes, there is that problem. Sometimes we wake up from the dream because the dream is saying you have to go potty. And you better hurry up and get there or else.
That's not one you really have to write down, though.
No, you shouldn't have to. I had a dream, what was it, 4 nights ago?
That's nice.
I was looking for a porta potty everywhere.
Thank God you didn't find one.
Right? In buildings, forests, in the car. I could not find a porta potty to save my life. I walked past the bathroom because I was looking for the porta potty. Makes no sense. Anyways, top of the hour. We're talking about dreams. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we've got some singing bowl time. And we'll keep talking about dreams and such. See you in a few. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between.
Oh, Lady Death is here. Hi, Lady Death.
Hey! How goes it? Haven't seen you for a while, Lady Death.
Yep. She's been doing a lot of online auctioning with her curios and such.
Very cool. Well, that's awesome. All right, so, yeah, which one should I do?
What do you mean, which one? Which bowl?
I've got all 8 of them.
Lovely.
See. Nope. We're going to do this one. So this is a G. G-O-G. So G is
You don't know
your...
this yet?
Oh, no, I keep forgetting. Throat chakra. Leo says all 8. Honestly, it's not very loud.
You gotta... Give me
Okay, Don wants the G. What
Give
goes
me
with
that.
G? Oh, what? Well, then give me that one.
No, fine.
The G is it? Apparently, we are having problems with our throat chakra. Oh, you get the higher pitch going, don't you? Okay, so this was the G, which is the throat chakra. I had the E, which is the solar plexus. And then I also have the B, which is your crown chakra. So yeah, a little bit. I got so many bowls. I told Lucky I just had to have a bowl before I started tonight. And she laughed at me.
Oh, boy.
Let's see. Kai, I'm staying home. I love the grandkids. I am going to stay home, and I'm not going to fight the insanity that happens to be in town every 4th of July. Although the parade's at 10 o'clock in the morning. I kind of want to go to that before it gets hot.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we'll see. So we're talking about dreams, dream interpretation, dream diary, dreams. dreams.
Of course you did, Lucky. that was kind of the double entendre there.
Okay. Oh. Okay. So Lucky said something about a plane that wasn't moving. She's seen Jupiter with the moons on the other side. So did you know that there was a Category X solar event?
Say again?
There was a Category X solar event today.
What exactly is a Category X?
So it's a flare. So an X-class flare are big. So they're often they're major events that can trigger planet-wide radial blackouts and long-lasting radiation storms. So it was Lucky says it was an M class, but it was a shallow flare. So there was no eject or plasma ejection. It was just the solar flare, and it knocked out shortwave radio in the across the Atlantic or around the Atlantic Ocean. So, well, I thought it was interesting. Yeah, it was off to the side, so it wasn't pointed at us. It was pointed kind of.
Well, Lucky said
off to the side,
but they were not aiming at us.
The
flares in general.
Yes.
Oh, I was wondering if like the aliens were sending them. We'll show those songs.
They're not smoke signals.
It's gonna make popcorn.
You're so odd.
Popcorn again.
All right, so everybody, we're talking about dreams tonight, and dream journaling and the importance of dream journaling. Links will be in the show notes, of course. When it comes to your journal, look for patterns in your dreams, because those patterns might reveal what your subconscious is dealing with. So once you've gotten in the habit of writing down your dreams, you've got some history there, you can analyze what you have, and you can go back through and reread it, and you can see elements or themes or bits and pieces that are consistent across all of your dreams. Maybe there's always a cat in your dream, or dragonfly, or turtle, or emu, or whatever. There's always a consistent character or element that is represented. Maybe it's a place and a time, or a person. Maybe it's a plant. Whatever it is, often it has a specific or special meaning to you that you're trying to deal with in the waking world that maybe you've been avoiding. How often do we deal with work stuff and we just deal with it even though we don't want to, because it's work and we got to have the paycheck, and we don't want to tell the boss that the wages are horrible, but you keep dreaming about it. Your paycheck is like you're just frustrated with it. Well, if you're constantly dreaming about that, it may mean that it's time for you to confront it and talk to the boss or whatever, and figure out what it is you need to resolve whatever issue your subconscious is saying, hey, this is important, you got to talk about it, you got to deal with it. Now, as far as how to journal, you can do it just freehand, write it down. You can do it like a blog. You can bullet point, whatever works best for you. It's more important to be consistent with whatever you do and just get started. You can buy pre-made journals. They're out there. But personally, I really just like a notebook. What are you looking for?
The little one you got.
Oh, it's on the table. School supply season is about to happen upon us, and you can get some just spiral bound notebooks and have one in every room. Don has a picture of a leather bound notebook that was given to me. It's got a cute little clasp and a fake little stone on the front, It's got the crescent moon on the front, the handcrafted paper, and interesting thing about this particular one, somebody was cleaning house and came across this particular little journal in some stuff that somebody gave her, I think. I don't know the exact why of it, but she was upset that her kids had it, and so she threw it in the burn barrel.
Yeah, I was wondering why. It's actually,
it's actually burned.
Real flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is a journal that was actually burned. Everything else in the burn barrel burned except for the journal. Like everything. It was all ashes, except for the leather-bound journal. So, a friend of mine, she says, well, you know what? I know someone who knows how to handle stuff like this and can take care of it, and she brought it to me. Honestly, there's not a doggone thing wrong with this particular notebook. It just wasn't used, and it wanted to be used. So it's here now, and I shall use it. La ha ha. Seriously, though. It's one of those things that fits in the purse, so you are out and about talking to people, doing the things. Does it smell like smoke?
Oh, it doesn't smell burnt.
Yeah,
It doesn't smell burnt.
was this July? It was like the first or second week in June. It was put in a burn barrel. So, yeah.
I threw it in the burn barrel and it didn't burn. Everything else burned. Now it's got to be satanic. Oh my God. I've got to get rid of it.
You're right. It's
Like
yeah.
Tom Riddle's diary.
Right. So yeah, it's a cute little book, and it came with some character and some personality. And of course, Mini Me saw. She's like, "Ooh, can I have that?" The answer is no. That is mine. It just I don't know. I think it's cool. It's a pocket version of my big one. Lucky says, funny how you keep getting these books to write in. Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, there's nothing written in it.
Yeah, another thing. It's all hand dipped paper.
Mm-hmm. Handcrafted.
Crafted, yeah.
And all of the pages are...
Yeah, they're all here.
Yep, all the pages are there.
Hand-bound.
Hand-bound, yep. And, apparently indestructible. Ish. Like he says, so you get the big book and the mini book goes to me. Oh, yes. So there's Dawn cutting the cords. Actually, no, I didn't get any kind of energetic signature from it when I held it. It was just pretty neutral. So fire can be pretty cleansing all by itself. So
true, good point.
whatever may have been part of the book before is not there now. And, yep. Mini-Me is currently in trouble. So Mini-Me is having a close encounter with truth. Ironically. So, yeah, talking about journals and dream journals and such. So, if you are using 3-ring or spiral bound notebooks, maybe get a 3-ring binder to stick them in so that you can kind of keep them organized as you go through them and use them. If you have a scanner and that's something you want to do later, be sure you can scan them into PDF so you have them and you can get rid of the binders. But often just keeping the binders as your notebook is a really good way to track the ebbs and flows in your life. When I first started journaling when I was in high school, I wrote everything in there, that time of the month, significant dates. It wasn't like, oh, hey, this happened. No, it was like a star or an exclamation period or some point or whatever. Yeah, it was just some way for me to know that something happened. Lucky was bragging about Mini-Me. Right. Lucky needs to live closer so she can babysit Mini-Me on a regular basis. Just saying. And everybody's hiring. Also, with your dream journal, Wanda says, my story of me, or your story of you needs to go in it. Yes.
Wanda, have you seen the big book? That's a book for a story of her.
Yes. Sometimes you just need more room. So make sure you have good writing utensils with your notebook, regardless of whether you're using pen or pencil, or if you're drawing, you've got colored pencils or highlighters, or the different things right there. Maybe have a basket you're keeping everything in, or a box or something. That way it's organized, not spread out all over the place. I know that some people will they'll write in the notebook whatever it is, and then they'll use a highlighter and color the page edge to show, hey, this one was about pets, and this one was about family, and this one was about work. That way there's a little bit of color coding to the notebook. That way they could flip through. It's like, oh, hey, I dreamed about pets for like 5 nights in a row. Or I dreamed about relationships for, a month. That kind of thing. Now, something to remember when you are doing the dream journal is you don't have to write all morning. Sometimes it's easier to just do bullet points and get the thoughts out there without going into a lot of detail. Because the longer you spend writing things down, the more your brain will start to fabricate details to fill in the blanks. Because often when we're dreaming, our subconscious is going, craziness. But when we wake up, our consciousness is kicking in, and we try to justify why were we having a moment. It's because there's a lion in the crowd, and that's why you're running in a panic. But you just, in the dream, you're like, oh no, something's coming and I have to run. There's not necessarily a reason why, but your conscious mind, your logic starts to kick in and says, well, there has to be something there. Otherwise you wouldn't run, and it creates something to run from. And often there isn't something. It's just the urge to run is unique all by itself. And remember to read your different entries periodically. Go back and review them. Has something changed with, maybe you have a repetitive dream that happens every so often and the details always seem to be the same? Well, once you start journaling that repetitive dream, do the details change at all, or do they stay pretty consistent throughout? Or if they do stay pretty consistent throughout and then suddenly, instead of yellow flowers, their flowers are all red, what's different? Now, if I'm traveling and I want to bring a dream journal, I just bring an empty one with me. That way, if for some reason I leave things at a hotel or a friend's house, I haven't left a dream journal that's, 3 months worth of dreaming in some random place that I'll never see again. Instead, I just have lost 1 or 2 days worth. Because, I don't necessarily want someone to pick up my dream journal and read it. It's private. That's my stuff. Kind of like letting a stranger go through your underwear drawer. That's just weird. Don't do it. Also, when you are doing your dream journal and you're trying to find a format or trying to find information or whatever, just be cognizant that a lot of the resources online are weird. Dreammoods.com I like. Colormeanings.com I do not. So colormeanings.com is very Christian based, and generally speaking I want something that is neutral. That's why Dream Moods is pretty neutral. It can go either way. It's not heavy handed. Another reason why you might want to keep a dream journal is if you are someone who's generally pretty creative or crafty and you're having a hard time creating something. What do you point?
Can you hand me the charging cord?
Sure.
Thank you.
If you're having a hard time creating something, sometimes if you're doing the dream journal, you're journaling things, it helps break down that creative block that you're having. Leo says I'm weirder than he is. Is that a bad thing? No, I think it's a good thing. Yes? No? Maybe?
He says you're weirder than us.
Well, yes, that's because he's often listens on Friday and Saturday nights
yes.
in a family setting.
Yes, that's right.
So, yeah. Hi, family.
Maybe I shouldn't have said those words earlier. Sorry. It's not necessarily it's just more of an adult family show.
I think his daughter's older. Or not older, but of age that she understands your sense of humor more than...
Oh, we can at least process it a little better.
Than Mini-Me. Every so often, we'll say something, and Mini-Me is like, huh? What does that mean? It's like, means you're not old enough yet.
He meant the research.
Oh, the research. Okay. Well, hey, research is good. Research is important. Thank you, Leah.
She's 18. Okay. Okay. Thank goodness. All right. So I feel better now.
So, the color page that I mentioned, very faith-based. Yeah, if I go to Dream Moods, colors, it says, straight up says it's colors are subjective and personal. So, hey, what do you associate with the particular color? So if you don't really like the color pink, odds are pretty good you don't like wearing that dress suit, whatever it is. So, and colors generally convey emotions. But Emotions. Emu? Yes. Do we need a show mascot? Or is that drama? Do you need an emu for a show mascot?
No. God, no.
I'm not allowed to bring home another animal. It's quite hard sometimes. Because the emus are cute. But they are. Don't look at me with that tone of voice. All right, so questions about dreams? Nope. All right. Something else I kind of wanted to talk about, and I will after the break. We're about 2 minutes still, and the reason for it is something that Mini-Me did today. It's amazing how much that she inspires, both good and bad. She is 7, and she's going through a little bitty phase, and hopefully we'll be nipping it in the bud here emphatically. Her phase has to do with truth and honesty, and if you define truth, according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, it's the body of real things, events, and facts, actuality, the state of being the case, often capitalized, a transcendent, fundamental, or spiritual reality. That is what truth is. So something, and I'll get into it here more. When it comes to truth, it's not always objective. Sometimes it is subjective. And when it comes to the littles, trying to help them understand the difference between truth and lying is harder. And so she's probably going to end up with a punishment that really sticks to her brain so that she remembers that telling the truth is more important. Parenting active, intelligent kids is an adventure. Hey, I feel better suddenly. Leo says it must be a 7-year-old thing because it happened to him too. I don't remember this with the boys. It's probably because it was more consistent. It wasn't just when they were 7.
The lying?
Yes.
Oh.
They're always trying to say they weren't into mischief when they really, really were. Or...
I got nothing to say.
Are you pleading the fifth?
I'm not saying a damn thing.
All right, well, hey, we're going to break and we'll be right back. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. Oh, yes. Talking about kids in the chat room. Yes, kids are such an adventure. No matter how old they are, they still need their parents. I know I still need my parents, and I have grandkids, so there. Tonight we're talking about dreams in general, dream interpretations, dream journaling. If you have questions about your dreams, send me an email at wildepaisley@gmail.com. Say hello in one of the chat rooms or give me a call at 213-233-3998. Dreams have meaning. Sometimes a lot of meaning. Sometimes not very much. It's just our brains kind of going crazy. So, I got to thinking, I was going to talk about truth just a little bit at the end of the show here, or the last half hour, unless somebody has a question or something pops up. Truth. Most people assume or treat truth as it's something set in stone. And we often forget that truth is not set in stone. It's more esoteric than that, if you will. And what I mean by that is that my truth is not the same as your truth. And that doesn't mean is not true. It just means my interpretation or my acceptance of my interpretation of truth could be different than yours. And whether it's yours as a group or yours as an individual, doesn't matter. Do you remember, here's in a couple years back on Facebook, there's this picture of a dress going around and people were, hey, what color is this dress? Is it blue or is it pink or purple or green or whatever it was? And some people said blue, some people said green, and it varied. They're like, why is this a problem? It's obviously a blue dress. And the other people are like, hey, why is this a problem? It's obviously a green dress. I mean, the interpretations of the same picture were quite varied. Now, part of it, the screens that people were looking at influenced the color that they were seeing, they're receiving. Some of it, the way the eye structure is, the message received was a little bit different. But each person who saw the image, like, my truth is that dress is blue. But the person standing next to them would say, and my truth is that dress is green. Are either of them wrong? Well, no. It's a dress that is a color that's true, and it's just their interpretation of the truth that gave them their answer. That's why eyewitness accounts in crime scenes or where something happens are often not as helpful as the eyewitness would like to think. It's not because they didn't see things. It's because it was their interpretation of what they saw. And that interpretation is based on your life experiences, your socioeconomic situation, the things you grew up with. If I see a man walking down the street, generally, I'm just going to, if he's in the lane, walking the same direction as I am, my knee-jerk reaction is, you idiot, you're on the wrong side of the road. Because if you're walking, you should be walking into traffic, not with traffic. So you can see cars coming rather than cars coming up behind you. And you want to be able to see to get out of the way. That's why you walk against traffic. Anyways, my first response is, what the heck are you doing? You're in the wrong lane. And just by seeing someone walk on the wrong side of the road, in my brain, their IQ drops significantly. Doesn't mean they're stupid, it just means they're not aware of what's going on. But maybe they didn't want to cross the road because the other side was dangerous, or, maybe they're walking up to their car. That's why they're on the wrong side of the road. There's a couple of different reasons why someone might walk on the wrong side of the road. Maybe they just don't care. Maybe they're suicidal. I don't know. There's so many different ways or reasons that someone would be walking on the wrong side of the road. My truth is he's an idiot. His truth is, well, why not? Doesn't mean but either of us are wrong, it's just our own interpretation. So when it comes to the truth, you have to pay attention to it. And don't get so stuck in your absolute interpretation of the truth that you refuse to allow anybody else to have their own truth. For instance, social media conversation I had today, and we had to deal with in one of the groups that I help mod, is that someone had posted something about being a Christian witch. And she was attacked by the haters, of course, because there's quite a few people out there who feel that Christianity cannot have witches. Some of those folks are Christian, and some of those folks are witches who follow or work with other deities. And they're like, what are you doing? You cannot be a Christian witch. Well, truth is, in my mind, yes, you can be a Christian witch. Why can't you? Magic is energy, energy is magic. Witches use magic, witches use energy. Faith healing uses energy. So people who are doing faith healers, to me, are witches. Christian witch, right there. But that's my truth. For others, it's not so much. And so because the haters were all over the place, we had to stop comments and ended up removing the post because it was so inflammatory. And so many people were triggered by it, and it was ridiculous. I was triggered by the ridiculous. But, that's something else entirely. And You know, we often get so stuck in our interpretation of the truth that we stop listening to anybody else's interpretation of the truth. And that's why right now, Minnie Me is having a hard time with the truth. She told me something that was not true, backed it up with additional not true statements, and now she's dealing with the repercussions, and that is a loss of some technology adventures, some limited enjoyment, and some other things that will be discussed tomorrow over breakfast. And generally, she likes to wheedle and negotiate to get some version of her own way. And sometimes I'm pretty okay. You know, I'll negotiate and we'll do things like, you do your chores and you get this reward. Or you do your chores and this happens. Well, this time it's like, you either bring me what I just asked for, or I will clean your room with a garbage bag. And right at this particular moment, we're looking at a garbage bag. Now, I would feel a little bad about just, getting rid of all of her toys, but at the same time, if she can't be honest with me and cannot tell me the truth, that's a big deal. And she's young enough right now that learning and understanding why truth is important is, I think, something that we definitely need to do. I don't want her to be sneaky or lie about things down the road. So on the one hand, she came to me with something, and while I'm glad she came to me with something, she lied about it. So there's kind of it's complicated, and we're dealing with the repercussions. So yeah, you have to remember truth is important, but your truth is not more important than somebody else's truth. Now, we'll get the real story tomorrow after she's awake and has had some breakfast and her brain's back into gear, because that kid gets hangry like nobody's business. But, so yeah. What happens when we don't use our truth? Or if people misinterpret what our truth is? That's a big deal. So if you say, my truth is this, and someone says, oh no, you're lying to me. It's like, actually, no, this is what I interpret it as the truth of the event. And Lucky says in chat, one time she saw a wreck and it had two cars, or the two cars were backwards. When the cop asked her why she said it different, she said she was walking away. And so things were reversed. And is that common? Well, I don't know. I haven't taken very many police statements. It's not my job. But her interpretation of it was true to her, because that's what her brain interpreted it as truth. And she would have signed a statement to that effect. But what really happened was something else entirely, because our brain does take the world around us and adjust things as we're experiencing them to fit into our own truth. I think that's part of the reason why so many people do not see cryptids, for instance. Why they don't see Bigfoot, why they don't see the Fae, why they don't see werewolves, or et cetera, the supernatural, if you will. It's not because it's not out there. It's just because our human brain is like, nope, not going there. That can't happen. So that is obviously not someone, that's not a fairy or a pixie. That is just a dragonfly or a butterfly, or, oh, that's just a tree standing in a weird way. That's not really Bigfoot. So because of that, I think a lot of the invisible folk, if you will, or the supernatural, the cryptid, etc., it's out there. They're all out there, but we don't see them because we don't expect to see them. The truth that we interpret or hear in our brain or see in our visions and our sights, that's the truth that we're willing to accept. It's not necessarily really the truth. It's just what we're willing to accept. And it's frustrating, because if you say, hey, according to what I recall, this is what happened, and someone says, that's not possible, that couldn't be true, you're like, but I was there, this is what I saw. And they're like, no, that couldn't be what happened. That's kind of what happened with Lucky and the officer. The officer says, well, this is what happened because this is what the data shows. And Lucky's interpretation or experience of it was a little bit different. partly because she was in it and experienced it a different way. And rather than arguing with law enforcement, which is never a good idea, by the way, note to self, do not argue with law enforcement. Their lives are stressful enough without adding your ego to theirs. So stop. So she walked away. She was like, all right, well, maybe I was wrong, and stepped back and away from the situation. Instead of confronting him and making things worse and escalating things, she's like, all right, well, maybe you're right and I'm wrong. That's putting your ego on a shelf and accepting that, hey, you're human. Now, he probably could have handled it a little bit differently and said, hey, I'm human too, and maybe you, instead of saying, no, you had to have been wrong, maybe he could have said something else entirely, would have like, oh, that makes total sense, that's why I saw it this way, or I experienced it that way. So that's why when you're having a conversation with someone or a debate, like I experienced earlier with the Christian witch group, my truth is, yeah, they exist. I have no problem with them existing. I am not threatened by Christian witches. So I'm absolutely okay with it. Hey, Gemini. But when people are threatened, they will often say, nope, that's not possible. That couldn't happen. That's not real. That's why, people don't see pixies, is because, well, they couldn't possibly be real. If they were real, this would happen and that would happen. Well, not necessarily. That's just your interpretation of what you think would happen. So that's something else entirely. So, remember truth. Truth is important. Don't get so stuck on your own truth that you don't allow somebody else to have their own truth also. And then, what happens if you were wrong? Well, it's like, own it. Maybe I was wrong and I'm sorry. That was my interpretation, and if it's way off base, I apologize. Now, when Mini-Me has done something and she comes to me and apologizes, I don't tell her it's okay anymore. I started off that way, but I was reading a book about how to word things differently, and I liked it. And so instead of saying, oh, it's okay, which implies that it's okay for her to keep doing the thing that she was apologizing for, I have started to say, I accept your apology. Doesn't mean I'm okay with what happened. It just means I've accepted her apology and I'm able to move on. And I think that is going to be an important thing to teach her also, is because sometimes you just have to accept the apology at face value and not demand more or expect more than the situation will provide. And now that she has emphatically lied to me, she gets to learn about how that can damage a relationship and damage an expectation, and what she's got to do to fix it. So, in a way, I am extraordinarily frustrated that she lied to me, but at the same time, this is an excellent learning opportunity. So when you come across someone who has a truth different than you, accept their truth, honor their truth, but it doesn't have to be your truth. So, yes, there will definitely be some rewards in her future. She comes to me and tells the truth, and I told her thank you for coming to me with the situation that she was lying about, and I appreciated that she felt comfortable to tell me about it, and I said that to her. I said, however, I'm not comfortable with you lying to me. Which, it's such a complicated. The boys were not this hard, I have to tell you. Boys are different creatures than girls, that is for doggone sure. I had two sisters, and I don't remember them being this hard on my parents. Nope, not at all. I just don't. So, that being said, remember your truth is your truth. Somebody else's truth may be different. Do not be so absolute that you cannot hear somebody else's truth. I think that, is a little bit of the problem that we are having with U.S. politics right now. Everybody is so 100% sure that their truth is the only truth that they've stopped listening to anybody else. And when you stop listening and stop having a discussion and a dialogue, that's when people stop listening. Because I don't want to listen to an argument. I'd rather listen to a discussion. Straight up, honest to God, a discussion is so much better than an argument. How often do you win the argument? Ask yourself that when you start saying, nope, my truth is the right truth. Well, is it really? Or is it just your truth? So when I looked up the definition of truth, I got something from Stanford, something from Merriam-Webster, and something from Wikipedia, which of course is just always right. And then biblical truth. Like 4 or 5 different ways to define truth according to the Bible. Well, you know what? Truthfully, there's more than the Bible out there. Really, truly. So, I wonder if my dream interpretation thing is something about truth. Probably not, because truth is a concept rather than a thing. That's something else. It is a concept. And the interpretation to a concept is always going to be a little bit different than the actual thing. Were any of them the same? Well, if you have trust in your dream, it means it symbolizes self-acceptance, and you need to work on integrating aspects of yourself. Interesting. Were any of the same? No, not really. There's some things that were similar, but generally speaking, it was truth is truth is truth. The Bible teaches truth is that which is consistent with the mind, will, character, glory, and being of God's creation. And then the psychology part. It's a property of beliefs and assertions. So yeah, I don't know. I'd rather be honest than truthful. I can be honest in my opinion. I can be honest in my facts, because they're my facts. But if it's like, hey, as far as I know, they're true, I'm honestly telling you what I think is true. I'm being honest in my interpretation. I think that is easier for some than trying to say, oh no, this is my truth and it's absolute. Yeah, don't be absolute. That's a vodka. You don't need to be a vodka. Just saying. So, the night's just about done for this weekend. Moving forward, I think the first Saturday of the month is a good night for dream interpretation. Probably a little quiet tonight. Thank you for all who did join, because it is a family weekend, family-oriented weekend. But remember the reason why. It is for our life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and all that. You know, I wouldn't be able to be a practicing witch and a pagan if we didn't have our country set up the way it is. There are other countries set up a little bit differently that do have pagans and witches, yes. But honestly, there's a lot of freedoms here, and we need to remember that. And those freedoms are ours, and we should not just give them away willy-nilly. A little bit of safety. If you give up a little bit of safety or a little bit of your truth for safety, make sure you're getting the right deal, that the cost isn't too high. Because I can think of quite a few families who feel that the cost is quite high, and make it worthwhile. And you do you, but don't infringe on somebody else's rights in the process. A lot of different people have their own truths out there, but you don't need to be in my face about it. Seriously. Public displays of affection, for example, I don't really appreciate any of them. Okay, some I do. Holding hands, the little peck, that kind of thing. Hugs, yes. But tonsil hockey is not an appropriate PDA. It doesn't really matter who you're dating or not dating, by the way. Gender or no gender or whatever. Just leave the leave the tonsil hockey at home. Just saying. And tomorrow's a family-oriented day. focus on the family. Honestly, truly. Focus on the why of it. The freedom. I'm making Lucky laugh every Saturday night. Yeah, there's a time and a place for everything, everybody. Make sure you're using the appropriate time and place. And, 4th of July should be family friendly. Here in North Idaho, some of their communities in this area are small enough, they still have community games like potato sack races and three-legged race, wheelbarrow races, that kind of thing. I know someone who broke their knee doing the wheelbarrow race. So just be careful. Have fun in games without hurting yourself. Stay hydrated. It is just bloody hot in the northern half of the country. Oh my stars, is it ever? I'm a little worried about our fire season, honestly. So if you're putting your goodwill out there in the world towards your communities and the communities around you and in the rest of the country here in the U.S., think rain. And yeah, so the city of Sandpoint, by the way, for those of you who are local, the city of Sandpoint and Bonner County itself have come out with a ban on fireworks, so private fireworks this year. And honestly, with good reason. It is dry. My yard right now, the part of it that I haven't watered, is as dry as it normally is at the end of August. And we're not there yet. So we're like 8 weeks ahead of our water rationing, which is kind of scary. So you're funny, Leo. Yes, pay attention. If you are doing the fireworks, be safe. Don't be that percentage that ends up in the ER due to a fireworks accident, guys and gals. Just be safe. Put the bottle rockets in the bottle. Don't hang on to them. It's just safer that way. Just for everybody. And don't point the Roman candles at the house. Please. And yeah, it's dry. The western coast is just dry all the way around. Now, Idaho's not the only one. Washington's dry, Oregon's dry, Arizona's dry, California's dry. Canada is dry. I know that we had a fire start here this morning, just right on the Canadian border between Idaho and Canada. So yeah, be safe, everybody. So happy 4th of July, my U.S. friends, and enjoy the 4th. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the lessening of the restrictions with the COVID if you can. If you have to wear the mask, wear the mask. Whatever you do, stay hydrated. No matter where you are, stay hydrated is good for you. On that note, next weekend's a new adventure. Not sure what we're going to talk about yet. It'll be a surprise when we get here. Still working on the book. I promise I am. And you'll be the first to know when it gets done. It's about wishes. So there, making a wish. And hug your loved ones and dream good dreams and write them down. So that's it for tonight. So merry meet and merry part and merry meet again, you guys. I hope you have a fantastic 4th of July and weekend. And, remember to take a nap because, they're wasted on the kids, so the adults need them too. So we'll see you next time.